Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Triumph Review. This one has been one that I have been waiting to do for a while now, and we are finally going to do it. We are going to talk about Lifetime. Now, as you can see right here, I have almost all of these. I am missing two, and I probably will never get them. So let's get into here and let's talk about why that is. Now, most of this is triumphs that are really not anything to talk about. Most of it is literally just play the game. So I'm just gonna say this kind of generally. I think it's cool that they give starting players just pretty much free triumph score to kind of introduce them into the triumph system just by having them play the game, you know, defeating different combatants, as you can see here, like literally just defeating 5,000 of each race gets you free triumph score. You know, killing different types of enemies, getting defeats with all sorts of weapons. I just think it's nice to introduce them into the triumph system if that's something that they want to pursue. And also having this kind of variety of triumphs, you know, with sidearms, shotguns, all the different kinds of weapons, all the different kinds of enemy types. It's nice because it gets people to branch out and try new things as they're just kind of getting into the game. And I definitely think that's a good thing. Everyone knows Destiny's new player experience sucks major ass. So, yeah, if anything, you know, this is nice to help get people to try to experiment and kind of see what they like. Even if it's kind of tucked away, you know, they don't really talk about the Triumph system a whole lot. So that's just going to broadly kind of apply to all of this, and all of this, and all of this, and also all of these, which are pretty much all just get different ability kills. When I did this, I did it, I think, in Season of Arrivals. I'm pretty sure I did this in the Shattered Throne in Thrallway, because back then, you know, you could farm catalysts there, you could, you know, the Shadow Thrall basically counted as kills. So I just went in there for a few hours at a time. I brought in Bad Juju if I needed super kills. I brought in a weapon with Demolitionist if I needed grenade kills and whatever. And that's kind of how I got these done. I do think it's interesting that after subclass 3.0, they did keep these grenade ones. That's kind of interesting. You know, like for Striker Titan, Pulse, Flashbang, Lightning. Obviously, if we look at the Titan Arc Kit, we have more grenades than that now, but they only kept the ones that were originally on Arc Titan. That applies to every subclass and every class individually. So it's just kind of a last thing to kind of keep the identity of subclass 1 and 2.0s. Okay, so moving on from the kind of general overview stuff, we have the social section. This is kind of interesting, just kind of their way of promoting clans and, you know, just playing while you're in a clan. I know they've said for years that Destiny is better when you play with friends. I definitely agree with that. So it's nice to see that they're sticking true to their word here. I do have an issue with this one, though. Clan Up has been the triumph that has prevented me from talking about Lifetime for a long time. And that is because this triumph is not very explicit with what you actually have to do with it. From what I understand for this triumph, and what worked for me, was you have to get 8 people, including yourself, who are all in the same clan, and complete Gambit private matches all the way through. I don't know why that's a thing. I think this was introduced with Forsaken when they were still trying to, like, you know, really push Gambit to the forefront. But I definitely think this could be worded a little better. I'm pretty sure Crucible matches don't count. If they do, let me know in the comment section, but the only thing that worked for us was Gambit, and I think this triumph may have been glitched for a while, but either way, it was a bit of a job convincing 7 clanmates to go do Gambit private matches with me. I will say, if you are trying to get this triumph yourself and trying to convince people, the thing that we did that was really fun, and actually we ended up playing, like, I think 5 matches in total instead of just the required 3, which is actually 2 because each match grants you 2 progress for some reason. I don't fucking know why. But we randomized our loadouts using Dim, and we had a blast. So if you're trying to convince your friends to go for this triumph, that's what I would suggest. And then we have this little fire team section just saying, okay, do stuff while there are people in your fire team. You know, this is all pretty straightforward. Dungeons, raids. I mean, you could even just grab a couple friends and do some strikes if you want. Interestingly enough, alongside social, we also have cooperative, where we have complete strikes in any strike playlist, complete strikes in any strike playlist, and you're not going to believe this one, complete strikes in any strike playlist. Why is it like this? I have no idea, but I'm not going to complain about free triumph score. Then we also have the Nightfall section, where it's basically just completing a Nightfall on every difficulty, including Grandmaster. These kind of tie into the Conquer title. I'm not going to go over any titles in this video. I don't feel like any titles specifically correlate enough with Lifetime. Any titles that you think might correlate strongly enough, I'll do a separate video for just covering all of those. If I haven't already, I can't really remember at this point. So all of this is pretty straightforward, but just kind of a general trend with co-op and competitive, as we're going to get to in a moment here, is just pushing players to go try out these different game modes. You know, Strikes, Nightfalls, Crucible, Gambit, Iron Banner Trials. Even as shitty as some of these game modes are, I do like that they, through this Lifetime Triumph section, are encouraging players to go out and play the game. The last section we're going to talk about is competitive, and the Crucible and Gambit ones are largely similar. So obviously we just have like complete matches, and then they have these interesting ones where you are basically encouraged to play on each of the 3 different classes. This kind of ties back to what I was saying earlier about liking that they are pushing people to try new things. They have, you know, all these different triumphs where they want you to try out all the different weapons. If you don't have these and you're looking to farm some easy triumph score, go do these. Go play Crucible. I know Crucible sucks, but just go do it. They do actually have some triumphs for comp here. They have doing your placement series, completing matches, and then also Platinum Division, which I got carried to. Shout out to Lazur. This, I think, was actually Triumph Chasing episode 2 or 3 or something like that. It's like really bad. It's really rushed because I was in the middle of finals during my freshman year at the time. So yeah, I have done this. I got a little bit carried because I don't play PvP anymore, really. I used to be kind of decent, but I can't play PvP anymore, man. I don't like it. Another game mode that I used to play a lot of is Gambit, obviously, because I run the Reckoner title a lot. And they have this kind of same thing here where they want you to do different things on each of the classes. I mean, you've heard me go on about this before. And then they have these extra cool little challenges, dealing the most damage, not dying, defeating all the high value targets and stuff, defeating invaders. This is a fun one, defeating an opponent in Gambit while their super is active. I mean, it can be kind of a sucky one to go out and grind, especially because, like, if you get into a situation where someone, you know, casts their super, you're immediately pressured to counter with your own super in order to get this triumph. But it makes for some fun moments. Okay, let's talk about the 2 triumphs that I will never get, and this Iron Banner section as a whole, I think, needs a bit of an update. These ones, you know, they're fine, win matches, you know, just different characters, whatever, defeat opponents, all this kind of stuff. But then we move on to here. Now, if you can read English, and I know a lot of people can't, and I know it's hard for a lot of Titan mains out there. This says, this triumph can no longer be completed after the end of Season of the Risen. I know this may blow the minds of a lot of people, but this is part of the active triumph section and will count for active triumph score. There is, believe it or not, a place for triumphs that are no longer obtainable, and that's called the Legacy Triumph section. Why in God's name are these not there? Why are they here? You can't get these anymore. So why are they still in the active triumph section? And that applies to these 2 as well. I did not play much Iron Banner Rift because it sucked ass. I didn't want to. Sue me. But they're still fucking here for some reason, even though Bungie will never bring back Iron Banner Rift. So my question is, why don't we retire these to the Legacy Triumph section? This just, it makes no sense. And it's not as though there's not a place that we can retire them to. Look at this. Triumphs 2017 through 2020, change the title, add in any triumphs that we can't get anymore. It's that easy. It's really that fucking simple. I mean, to be honest, I don't expect them to change this right now, because I expect them to be making the game actually functional so that I don't get guitar errored 5 times every time I want to run a DSC, or so that, you know, every patch that comes out isn't immediately riddled with bugs and we're dealing 75 times the super damage we should be with Sentinel Shield or whatever the fuck. But once they've actually fixed the game, I don't know, maybe, you know, rehire some people or some shit like that, they could, you know, fix this, because I will never be able to get these triumphs. And I know that sounds really selfish, but just in general, you know, it's kind of ridiculous that these are here when they're no longer obtainable. That's what I'm going to say about that. Rant over. The rest of the stuff is pretty generic. This used to be kind of a fun one, but now, since it's just like you run Iron Banner gear when you're playing Iron Banner anyways, does it really even fucking matter? The last section we have is Trials. If you play Trials, you are probably mentally ill or something, or you just hate yourself, which I guess is kind of the same thing. I don't play Trials anymore. I did this stuff when Trials was actually kind of fun for like 2 seasons, I think. If you don't have those and you want to go for these, God bless your soul. I hope that you are okay when you come out the other end, and that you don't want to kill yourself. So overall, with the lifetime section, I think the first, like, these sections are all really great. This one too. I like parts of this one as well, where they encourage people to get out there and really try different things. I think trying things in Destiny is important. If you know, learn one thing and then just stick to that thing forever, you're kind of limiting how much fun you can have in Destiny. And I know that's kind of ironic for me to be saying, because I don't run a lot of variation in my builds, but I found what I like and I'm cool with it. My statement, I guess, is that if you forget that you can build craft and make new things, you're gonna get bored of the game if you're just running the same thing and you don't want to try new things. So to have these here to just kind of encourage that, I think is kind of nice, even if it's just like a small thing, and not a lot of people go for triumph score, but yeah, it's cool to have. But that about wraps up my thoughts on the lifetime section. Bungie, fix yo shit. That's it. Thanks for listening to my opinions, and I'll see you later.